Alright, Panther fans, so if you thought that winning the President's Trophy a couple of years ago and then winning the Eastern Conference last season, if you thought that that was going to garner us even a modicum of respect from the national hockey media, you will sadly be disappointed, as I have been finding out during this off season. Now, this article came out the other day, and honestly, I could crack a joke and say that I had to wait a couple days to calm down before filming the video, but the truth of it is that my tooth has been hurting, and I did record a video yelling and screaming about it, and my internet went out halfway through recording it, trying to do the podcast, so here I am a few days later. Now, the article are the 4 least improved teams in the NHL. Now, the second I saw this, the second I saw the headline, the very second I saw the headline, I knew exactly what was going to be in this article, and it was just going to be used as an opportunity to rag on the Panthers. Now, the 4 teams: Boston, Calgary, Tampa Bay, Florida. Boston and Tampa Bay, no big surprises there. Remember, it's least improved, so I understand that. Certainly Boston didn't improve. I've heard from some Tampa fans that say they're actually happy with the restructuring of some of the guys on the team. I'll leave that to you guys, fans of that team. Calgary is an interesting one because I would have thought they would have improved just from losing Sutter. But then I got to the Florida Panthers section. I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to react to it. I'm going to try to keep my calmness about me. It is August, by the way. There's nothing to really get upset about. But this article is just significantly indicative of exactly how the national media views us. So without further ado, the first thing he goes over are the additions: Evan Rodriguez, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Mike Riley, Dmitry Kulikov, and the departures of Gudis, Duclair, Stahl, Colin White, and Alex Lyon. He's left a couple of guys out in terms of the additions, but hey, we're not going to get overly picky there. Now, the Panthers' improbable run to the Stanley Cup Final, fueled by R-rated violence, historic goaltending, and sheer unadulterated vibes, was a fantastic story. It also helped to mask the fact that this was a 92-point regular season team that squeaked into the playoffs last year by a single point, thanks to Ron Hextall's Pittsburgh Penguins not winning a late April game against the stripped bare Blackhawks roster. So let's just start there. We did not make the playoffs because Pittsburgh lost a game. We made the playoffs because we were 10, 12 points behind in January. We played on a ridiculously fantastic points pace the rest of the season, won 6 straight with our 3rd string goaltender, and then got the point that we needed in our last 2 games to get in. The narrative that we only got in because Pittsburgh lost the game is false, because you're counting the fact that the Panthers lost their last game when we had nothing to play for other than seeding. We already had a playoff spot locked up when we played our last game. But that's okay. That's okay. It's going to get worse. Don't worry. It's going to get worse. Now, the roster responsible for that little taste of playoff magic has been both broken and gutted. Now, I'm not exactly sure what this man's definition of gutted is, but when you look at the top 9 that we put out there against the Carolina Hurricanes in the Eastern Conference Finals, and what we're fixing to roll out this year right now, it's basically, if we wanted to put Cousins back in the top 9, the only difference that we currently have is we got rid of Duclair and we got Rodriguez in. That's it. The rest of the top 9 that beat the Leafs and that beat the Canes is completely intact. So I'm curious just to know why you're saying it's gutted. It is far from gutted. It's ridiculously, almost impossibly the same. The team's 2 most important defenders, Ekblad and Montour, will likely start the season on LTIR while recovering from their postseason injuries. That would necessitate a top pair featuring the likes of Gustav Forsling and Nico Mikkola, the ghost of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Josh, 7th defenseman in the playoffs, Mahura. With Gudis and Stahl gone, those are the best remaining options. and this is where we get to just the hater portion of the article. First of all, they're not gutted. Second of all, it wasn't just a little bit of playoff magic. And thirdly, is this moron not already aware that Gustav Forsling was on our top pair with Aaron Ekblad? The likes of Gustav Forsling. You can hear the hate. You can read the hate. It is dripping with just arrogance, and just the fact that we made it this far clearly bugs this man who wrote this article. Now, in terms of the top pair, my preseason prediction in terms of what I've been talking about on the podcast, I expect it's going to be Forsling and Larson, but I'm not against the possibility that Mikkola could get up there. I don't really think that's the way it's going to go. I think Mikkola is going to replace Gudas. And what's with the Josh Mahura 7th defenseman in the play? What the hell is that? If you go and you look at Mahura's statistics, there were 21 playoff games, including the Cup final, and he played in all 21 of them. There was one game I think I seem to possibly maybe recall where we played 11-7 and somebody must have classified Mahura as the 7th defenseman. But the dude straight up came in and played exceptionally well considering his lack of experience during the regular season. And I have no problem with Mahura. Now, is he going to be on the top line? Probably not. Probably not. But just like Forsling, if he takes the step up into the second pair, I think he's going to be just fine. Up front, the franchise's face and offensive engine, Tkachuk, might also miss a big chunk of time thanks to a broken sternum, placing even more offensive responsibility on Alexander Barkov, and a depleted forward corpse that added Evan Rodriguez to fill the hole Duclair and Stahl left behind. Okay, everything we've heard, Tkachuk is going to be ready for the regular season. Now, me personally, I wouldn't mind him sitting out a month or 6 weeks to continue to rest, get healthier, get stronger, and be ready for a full grind. I'm not worried about it. But again, what is with this man saying first that the team was gutted, now the forward group is depleted? Based on what? I bring your attention once again to the top 9. The only guy missing is Duclair, and we placed him with Rodriguez, who maybe is not going to score as many goals, okay, but he's a better two-way player. Now, the only thing I'll agree with here, and I've talked about this again on the podcast, is that this will require Alexander Barkov to maybe be a little bit more offensive. He's going to need to take some more shots. He's going to need more goals per game than he got this year. Maybe a repeat of the President's Trophy season where he had 39 goals. But, you know, I do not make videos talking about the intricacies of other teams because I don't pretend to know the intricacies of the other teams. I'm a Panther fan, I watch hockey, but I don't peruse things 24/7 to learn what the lines are and what every single team and every single player is doing. So I don't pretend to have that knowledge. Maybe people who write articles shouldn't pretend to have knowledge that they don't have just the same. Getting a refreshed and rejuvenated Spencer Knight back in the crease will go a long way in helping the Panthers tread water. But if the notoriously up-and-down Bobrovsky regresses back into his down-year form, and Knight gets injured or isn't ready to return, Anthony Stolarz isn't exactly the most inspiring last man standing. Okay, so let me get this straight. The team that just made the playoffs because their third goaltender came in and got hot and had us and gave us a 6-game win streak. That's now the part of the reason why with a new third goaltender that it's going to be doomsday if Bob has a couple of bad nights and Spencer Knight's not ready. Look, as far as Zito is said, the body language that he's used, there's no guarantee that Spencer Knight's starting the year at the NHL level. He might, I sort of expect him to, but I would not even be a little bit shocked if come game 1, Knight is in the AHL and Stolarz is the backup. Now, for whatever reason, Zito felt like Stolarz would be an upgrade over Alex Lyon, and I sure as hell am not going to stand here and question Bill Zito and his talent evaluation, so we're just fine. Now, this is the second or third article that I have seen pumping Spencer Knight up to be significantly more important to this team than he is. in its current form, okay? In case you didn't notice, we had that playoff run to get to the playoffs and the entire playoff run during the postseason without Spencer Knight. That doesn't mean I don't like the kid. It doesn't mean I don't think he's eventually going to be what we all hope he's going to be. But we went out and got Stolars for a reason. So for whatever reason, we are going to hear this. This is going to be the theme and the meme that we are going to hear from the national media. The Panthers are gutted. The Panthers are depleted. And God help us if we start off a little bit slow. They're all going to be there to point and say, see, I told you, I told you, I told you. Well, only an idiot would think we're not going to start slow considering all of the injuries. But to say that we are gutted, to say that the forward group is depleted, and they keep including Stahl in there like that's some big loss. First of all, if we wanted Stahl to still be here, he could still be here, okay? We signed other guys that he doesn't even mention to fix up the fourth line. So, like I said, if you don't know about the details of a team, don't write about them. We're not gutted. We're not depleted. I'm also not going to stand here and predict we're going to win a cup just yet because it's August. I wait till September before I do that.